All things. One of the most comforting verses in all the Bible is Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. I have a friend who believes life is one big crapshoot, and God is over in the far corner of the universe wondering what went wrong with his noble experiment. He does not believe God is involved in the daily lives of his children. I disagree. The last few weeks I've had the chance to meditate on Romans 8:28. God has brought good out of some of the worst experiences in my life. I realized last week that if Harold had dropped dead suddenly at 59 instead of being diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, I would have been left unprepared to cope. I would not have known how to drive a car, how to maintain the repairs on the house, and most of all, bonded as we were, would have been completely devastated by the sudden loss of my best friend and lover. Other people have survived this blow, and I could have, I suppose. Instead, my husband faded away from me gradually, like a dissolving picture in a television show. I listed some bad news, good news facets of my husband's illness and recent death. Bad. Harold had Alzheimer's. Good. I can understand and help others whose loved ones also suffer from the devastating disease. I have become a deeper Christian and gained more insight into the value of suffering. I learned to drive. I started this column because I didn't have Harold to listen to what I was thinking. I had time to devote to State Women's Missionary Union work. Bad. He lived for 15 years in the demented state. Good. His income continued, and he was accepted into the Veterans Hospital, where he got the best of care, leaving me free to travel and go on with my life. His living so long may have kept me from an ill-advised second marriage. No other man could have lived up to the best husband in the world. Bad. I had to decide whether to continue tube feeding, which I am opposed to in long-term situations. Good. He pulled the tube out himself. Bad. His long-term doctor took herself off the case because she could not stand to lose the 6-year battle she had waged to keep him alive. Good. He had such loving care from those who cared for him. The doctor on the hospice wing was in agreement with the decision. Bad. He lived for 6 days without nourishment. Good. He seemed at peace and lived long enough for all his children to be with him at the end. Bad. A flash flood prevented our having the funeral at Liberty Baptist Church, where seating was limited. Good. The Paintsville First Baptist Church allowed us to use their sanctuary, where there was plenty of room, and Patty was able to maintain her composure during the eulogy. So many memories of her daddy would have overwhelmed her in the church so intimately associated with him. Everything else was good. The sun came out for the burial. The water went down in time for the Liberty ladies to feed the family and out-of-town guests in the new fellowship hall. The food, flowers, and donations to Liberty Baptist Church from friends and neighbors were outpourings of love. The eulogy daughter Patty delivered on her daddy's faith in God and towards his family and his church, and God's faith toward Harold, were apples of gold in pictures of silver. We felt the prayers of everyone as we celebrated Harold's homecoming. All things have worked together for good.